Coming up, we ate at one of the best breakfast spots at Universal Orlando Resort, and we may know what the next official house is for Halloween Horror Nights. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Universal edition of The Diz Unplugged. This is episode 126 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Universal vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host, Craig Williams, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mr. Ryno Clavin. Riboflavin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Energy in the cell.
Exactly. That's how I like to do things. How are we doing today, Ryno?
Good.
Doing good?
Full.
Good.
From breakfast.
Yes, we had quite the...
Talking weird.
I don't know, but we had quite the incredible breakfast this morning. I'm not going to give away where we ate at yet, just because we do have a little bit of other things to talk about before we get there. But yeah, we had an amazing breakfast. I am so excited about it. It was really a good time all around. You should have been there. You weren't. I know what you might be thinking, though. You're wondering, hey, didn't you guys kind of say that you were going to be doing a show on maybe Antojitos as a dining review? Because tomorrow, of course, well, as we're recording this 2 days from now, but on tomorrow it will be Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
And we did say that. We said we were going to do that. But you know what? It turns out that we are a bunch of dirty liars because we didn't do that.
The universe just didn't align. Because we went to go do it, and all this week, Antojitos is closed.
Absolutely, yeah. This was actually not our fault. I don't know what is going on right now with Antojitos, but on we tried to do this several days. On Monday, I believe we went, and it was closed for a private event. Tuesday, we were going to go back, saw it was closed for a private event, as well as the day we're recording this. But it will open up on Thursday, just in time for everyone who wants to start Cinco de Mayo a day early. But unfortunately, that's a little bit too late for us to get this great content out there for you. So we had to change things up at the last second, and I do apologize for that. But with that, we still have that great review for you coming up just shortly. But I have to get to the Halloween Horror Nights speculation that is running rampant around right now. And I do say this, again, as of the time that we are recording this, and it will be released tomorrow. Hopefully, this doesn't get officially confirmed sometime after this goes up, or sometime right before this goes up live. Otherwise, that will be very embarrassing on our ends, but I have a feeling it's not. So, Ryno, what is the speculation on the next announced house for Universal Orlando?
Well,
Halloween Horror Nights?
It's very exciting to me because it's a classic property, and I watch this movie every Halloween.
God, just tell me already.
It's The Shining.
Oh, Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Tucci's The Shining.
Oh, that's also a good one.
Mm-hmm. That one stars Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci, obviously. But no, I love The Shining, and I love the idea that they're digging in with like how they did with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, American Werewolf in London. All these like kind of classic properties that it seems like once a year they've got a solid go to, and I feel like The Shining would be perfect for me. Very lots of interesting visuals that they could do, cool effects. I'm wondering if they'll have I'm sorry, go on.
Well, we'll talk about that. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but let's talk about where this is coming from. Back in January, the good folks over at hhnunofficial.com started reporting that they were hearing rumors about the Shining house, something I think that all Halloween Horror Nights fans have been speculating on for a couple of years now, hoping that it was finally going to be the year that we would get something Shining related. And, of course, it is a Warner Brothers movie, so it's not as easy to just corral and get everything in there, but with the other properties that they've been pulling in, we always have to keep our fingers crossed. So yesterday, as of
my guess is we're going to have a mummy house this year too.
yeah, no, absolutely, we probably will. And since the new Tom Cruise Mummy movie, the
tie-in Universal, all that, yeah,
I'm guessing that will be a part of it. But luckily, the people at HHNU were forwarded an email from, I believe they said it came from a travel agent that had a kind of flyer sent out. And not a flyer, gosh, what year is this? 1987?
Gosh.
But no.
It was a Morse code. Beep,
Yeah,
beep, beep, beep,
it's an extra, telegram, read all about it. No, they travel agents were sent out an email where the leak ended up happening. So in the email, it said, just announced, The Shining. And then it goes on to say that Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is a horror classic, and now Halloween Horror Nights 2017 invites your clients to the Overlook Hotel. Within its walls, they'll relive some of the scariest moments ever caught on film. They'll face the Grady twins and experience Danny Torrance's blood-soaked premonitions. And it's all work and no play as an axe-wielding Jack Torrance pursues them through a snow-covered hedge maze. This legendary masterpiece is now the most terrifying haunted experience imaginable. This is The Shining. The Shining and all related characters and elements. Copyright Warner Brothers Entertainment Incorporated. So, so this was sent out and leaked, but they are not quite sure even if it's legitimate or if it was fake, because they were not sent it firsthand. I guess they just got a screenshot of it. Of course, anything can be doctored. Why someone would doctor an email like this and put it around? If you have that much time on your hands, that is something else. But yeah, we don't know for sure whether or not this is accurate. So as of right now, it is still a rumor, but it's a fun rumor at that, because The Shining is such a classic movie. I can only imagine what they would do with it, and I believe right now you and I are going to imagine what they might do with it.
We should.
Should we?
Yes.
Yes, we should. So let's just spend a couple minutes here talking about what we would like to see from a Shining house, how we would like it to go. So with that, I think we have to start with...
Well, first of all, before we get into anything, I want to see it done in the same way they do the Halloween house. I want to see, like, the original one. Like, I want to see character lookalikes, or how they did American Horror Story. I'm sorry. I want to see, like, a Jack, a Danny, a Wendy. Yeah. I want to see those characters.
They did.
I forget the caretaker's name.
They Scatman Crothers. That's who it is, but I forget his name in it too, as well too. It is Scatman Crothers, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. They did that with Halloween too. They had Michael Myers, and they had
him strangling the babysitter with the cord. Yeah.
So they did have those characters in there. So just based on if this leak is legitimate, I would
Dick Halloran.
There you go.
Dick
yep.
Halloran, yeah.
I would assume definitely that they are going to include the characters, because if that little blurb is accurate and it's not just something made up, then that would make it sound firsthand like the characters will be in there. I mean, it won't have the scary nature to it if you aren't actually pursued by a Jack Torrance.
Yeah.
Doing a Here's Johnny through the door frame, or then chasing you through the hedge maze, popping out, or like
seeing
his frozen
the stairway where they're
right
going up the stairs.
Yeah.
And she's swinging the bat.
Yeah, no, you need all that.
Give me the bat,
Wendy.
Give me the bat, Wendy.
So, one thing they will not have Dick Halloran's photo that he has above his bed of the naked woman.
I don't know that they won't have that. I don't know that they're not going to have that.
They absolutely could have that. But so, and there's other things that they could have that might be on the weirder side of things. So let's start with it. Would you rather see this house inside a soundstage or at a tent?
Soundstage.
I think we both have the same one. We kind of talked about this a little bit beforehand. I want to see this on a soundstage because I want to see this as an indoor house where it starts off with snow, and the blizzard is already coming in. The whole part of the story will start in that they are already stranded in the Overlook Hotel. I don't want it to start as the nice peaceful beginning of the movie and slowly watch the progression into it. A good house needs to start.
We're coming in
like,
the day
getting
of
in
the
it.
attack. Yeah, you know.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. Like we're okay. So anyway, that's how we'll go in. You know, we got to get into the food closet at one point too. The refrigerator, not even the refrigerator. Where she locks. Don't they get locked in? He gets locked in.
Yeah, she locks him into one of the fridge, and then and Grady lets him out. So
That's right. Because Grady tells him like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to." Okay, so
and that's
I'm wondering, do you think they're gonna set up the whole maze like an actual like here's the hotel? So we walk in and we're in the foyer, and then we have to go into the kitchen, and then we go into the ballroom, and then we go into the hallways, and then we go out the back into the maze. Because we've got to get the ballroom. You got to do the ballroom. You got to do the lady in the shower.
Yeah, well, room 237 will absolutely have to be a part of it, and that's where I was kind of going with the image above Dick's bed. With that, I mean, it would be a naked corpse coming out of the shower.
Well, in California they did that. Was it California or was it here? One of them has in the Halloween 2 house had him. Pushing the face
the hot
and
tub,
the acid, so there were boobs in the house.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So that's obviously going to be some of the iconic moments. Obviously, we already said there with the twins. I wonder how many times they're going to be used. That is definitely a real question.
I wonder if they're going to do it like, okay, so here's what I'm imagining. You remember like the Walking Dead house that time they had it was on a track that moved towards you and there was like the flashing light. Okay, so it'll be a hallway kind of like that. And oh my goodness.
That was
something
scary.
Fell in here.
Just as we were talking about this.
But I think it would be like something where we see the scene and then it flashes to another scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like
get
they
you.
might have to do a digital, so it'll flash into the bloody twin scene and then it'll flash into the regular hallway.
Well,
or something like that.
because they have to have the images of the twins standing there, and that it also, just like the movie, it has to cut to then where he sees them, but then also sees the images of the twins just chopped up in the hallway, all disgusting and bloody.
Yeah.
Like that has to be.
But we have to be like, we're going to have to see Danny. I'm imagining it's going to be a little like a doll or like little animatronic kind of a thing where it's like Danny on the scooter where he'll just kind of ride the bike around.
I think it would kind of be like the same idea as in the Insidious house where they had the little bike that it just kind of it would move forward and back. I think they might do something like that with Danny on a bike as a doll just going back and forth, kind of like that.
Do you think they'll lay down carpet?
Yeah, they absolutely will. And this is where things could really take off with this. And I know that's why there could be some speculation is that, Universal does like to put little Easter eggs in their houses to from either past houses or like if they know that they're going to try to work on a house the next year, then they'll hide something and be like, okay, well that's your sign that one was coming. And of course, last year in American Horror Story, in the hotel portion, the carpet is the same carpet as the same iconic carpet of the Overlook Hotel.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's
fun.
That would definitely be coming back again. Still speculation. This is all speculation, just stuff we would want to see with it if this rumor is true. And it needs some of those iconic moments for me. Like it needs Dick showing up at the hotel to try to save Danny and Wendy, and he just takes an axe in the stomach.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers.
I mean, I imagine it's going to be like one of those. We come around the corner, and the actor's got the hands on the axe, and then he pulls away, and the axe stays in, on him or something. Or I can just imagine the intensity. So we've said they do really cool things, like when they did the slamming sound in the Egyptian house that we went into. I can't remember what it was called, but and then also they did that effect in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house with the slamming of the door. And, it makes you nervous. That slamming noise is him chopping the axe on the wood.
Yeah.
They've got to have like that sort of a thing, And
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
I will be really excited because we need the exit. It needs to be snowing when we exit through the maze.
See, but that's also the hard part too. Is I thought originally I want to see us exit the maze, and the last thing you see is his frozen corpse. But then I
Not
thought,
Danny. I'm sorry.
Then I thought of it again, and but also part of the reason why the movie has such an iconic ending to it isn't that it's once you see the portrait,
the photo.
Thank you. Then that's also a lot harder too. I'm sure they could just play that music track that is going over top of the photo from the movie,
it'd be cool
and that's
if they
good
have
exit
the photo
music.
I don't know,
Somewhere, yeah, and it would need to be somewhere represented in the house. But this is one of those things that this has the potential to be one of the longest houses.
I want to see the bloody elevators.
Yeah, no,
I don't know that that's possible though.
Oh, I think that could easily be done projection map right in the house and have it open up and look like blood coming out. I could easily see that being able to happen. So I don't think that one's a problem at all. I don't think they'll have any problems achieving any of the effects that they want from the movie. It's just whittling down which are the classic iconic moments. Of course, you need a scared Wendy with "Here's Johnny," trying to come through the bathroom, the hedge maze, as we say, seeing Grady, seeing the twins, the elevator, blood, getting some ballroom action, even show maybe at the start of the maze where they're going to be showing like corridors in the hallway, show Jack throwing the ball around, just starting to go stir crazy and mad. They don't have to like jump right into all the bloody action and everything. Start with his descent into madness. It could become a very interesting piece that way.
As soon as possible.
And let's all be happy that we will not see any hedge mazes or any
you mean the animals?
Yeah, the topiaries coming to life.
Hey man,
we do not need topiaries.
When you told me this was the announcement, I was like, oh yes, the Steven Weber made for TV classic movie, The Shining. I was super excited. Then you told me the Jack Nicholson Shining, and it went down a little bit. But
yeah,
I obviously am kidding. I do really enjoy the Jack Nicholson one. I watch it every year. I do have an appreciation for the Steven Weber one as well because it's closer to the book. But
well, the only reason I have an appreciation for that one at all is because my family used to go out to Colorado all the time, and we actually stayed in the hotel
that they filmed that one in.
Well, yeah, and that's the exact same hotel where Stephen King wrote The Shining as well too. He was in.
Where did they film the Shining with Jack Nicholson? Not in the same one.
The facade of that they used for just like the wide shots. Those were all shot, I believe, at a hotel in Oregon, and then everything else, of course, was sound stages in London. But the actual hotel, I just for the life of me, I cannot think of the name. The Stanley Hotel. Sorry. That's where Stephen King wrote that. I believe he wrote it in room 217, if I can remember. Even though it's changed to 237 in the movie and stuff, he wrote it in room 217. It was like one of the most haunted rooms in the hotel, and part of the weirdness of it, I remember from the tour that we took around there, is that they're like, well, when you stay in the room, the scariest part is when you go in the bathroom. The light switch to the bathroom is on the door the side of the door. So you have to completely close the door and shut yourself in the dark bathroom before then you can turn on the light. And so at night it's even worse in there. But all that aside, that hotel is great. It was one of the scariest hotel stays I've ever had. Funny enough, it also serves as the hotel in Dumb and Dumber, where where
And
they pull up
an
to the
Aspen,
front and where they run up the stairs. And when he's waiting at the bar for Mary, you can sit at that bar. But unfortunately, they don't have the "We Landed on the Moon" newspaper on the background. But that ended up being a super long tangent about the Stanley Hotel in The Shining. But that shows how much we care about this. This shows how much we want this rumor to be true. Because if it is, oh boy, that would be amazing. I would just, I don't know what to say about it other than that. So, should we talk about food now?
Yes, we should.
Okay. Well, all that being said, I think it is time for the grand reveal. Ryno, we had what I would easily say is probably the best breakfast I've ever had at a Universal Orlando Resort restaurant.
I think this is my first breakfast experience at a Universal Orlando Resort.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe I ate breakfast on the opening day of Diagon Alley at the Leaky Cauldron, but that doesn't really count.
Well, we also had breakfast when we were staying at the whatchamacallit, the Sapphire Falls. Our only decent experience at Amatista was for breakfast.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
But no, we decided to try out a restaurant that actually came recommended by one of our listeners. So you might remember we just previously did an episode on our least preferred, and in some cases just terrible restaurant choices at Universal Orlando. And if you remember correctly, one of the restaurants that we had on that list actually was Island's Dining Room at Royal Pacific Resort. And we went for the walk experience there for dinner. Yeah. When we went, we talked about it on that show. The walk experience. If you made like the perfect combination of it, I think you could get a decent meal out of it. But for the most part, all of the food that we had there fell really, really flat. Just embarrassingly flat. It was not very good at all. I had a couple good items, but no one else enjoyed it for the most part. So it took us by surprise when we got the email, and I apologize, I don't have the email. Otherwise, I would mention the listener watcher who recommended this to us. But when we saw that they said that there was a good breakfast there, we are going to start burying our pride and say we will give these places second, third chances, especially for different meals. And so it just worked out with not being able to get into Antojitos that we wanted to go try Island's Dining Room for breakfast. So just a little bit of info on that. The breakfast runs daily from 7 o'clock through 11 o'clock. And you have, I believe, a little bit of options for how you want to eat your breakfast. There is a menu where you can order a la carte items, which is how we did it today. But then they also have a buffet that is available, and it's a pretty standard buffet from what I could tell. Walking around looking at it, you had on it, you had eggs, scrambled eggs, grits, oatmeal, and then there was a variety of other items. You could get pog juice while you were there, which is pineapple, or they had it as papaya, orange, and guava. You could have mango juice. There was a create your own omelet station, which that's always fun when they have create your own omelet stations at these types of places. But yeah, the one thing that did kind of catch me off guard, they had fruits and pastry, stuff like that. But they had, from what I could tell, was a make your own pancake machines, like an on-demand pancake machine where it's in there and then it just makes and pops out on a hot plate. I don't know if that's what it was. No one else was using this thing, so I couldn't tell, but you know what? Using technology and science like that would be enough to get me to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is an option for those of you who prefer eating buffet style for this. I'm not a huge buffet person, not all the time. And this menu is it's an eclectic menu, to say the least. There's a lot of Hawaiian flavors. There's a lot of just unique items. It's not just standard American breakfasts.
Yeah.
So
Which I really appreciate, because I do feel like a lot of places you go, it's just like eggs, bacon, pancakes, waffles. You're like, well, I want something creative.
yeah, no, I mean we're all about creativity here. We hope and desire constantly for creativity. Prices here, I would say, are very, very fair to reasonable for a theme park, hotel, restaurant for breakfasts. But we can't really talk about how fair the prices were unless we actually go through with some of the food, and we tried to come up with a certain types of choices to best suit everyone. So we got one specialty food item that they consider a house specialty. We got one that was off the menu that just it felt unique and different and sounded really delicious. And then we got something that was gluten-free, because they do have a gluten-free menu. And it's, we need to start reaching out to try these vegetarian items, these gluten-free items, just so all of those people out there who are affected by food allergies or have dietary restrictions, that way we can start giving you better information. But
Yeah, let you know whether the food's terrible or not.
Exactly.
Whether it has actual flavor, it tastes good.
Yeah, and there was a different selection. You could have gluten-free pancakes, gluten-free breakfast pizza, gluten-free bagel, gluten-free cinnamon sugar donut, French toast, English muffin. For the healthy alternatives, they had like an egg white and smoked turkey wrap. And smoked salmon on a bagel, stuff like that. So they definitely had a promise. Oh, notifications just popped up. That's always lovely. But sorry, that caught me off guard for a second. Why don't we start then, since I'm mentioning all this gluten and this good gluten stuff, why don't we start off by talking about the gluten-free item that we did try?
It was a breakfast pizza.
Yes. So.
And I thought it looked like, well, in this photo, it looks like, you know what it looks like.
Yeah, it straight up looks like a pizza where they just dropped
over easy eggs.
Yeah, 2 over easy eggs on top.
Eyes that are looking into your soul with sadness. I wish we had ordered one strip of bacon to make the Pee Wee Herman. I pity the fool who eats my breakfast pizza.
So yeah, the gluten-free breakfast pizza comes with turkey sausage, peppers, mushrooms, and 2 eggs, sunny side up on it. It is $12. Ryno, what did we think of this?
I thought it was okay. I thought it wasn't bad. It was solid. I wish there was a little more maybe spice to it or something like that. The egg on the pizza, it's always a good idea.
Yeah.
I feel like that's never a bad idea. And I wish they had used maybe chorizo instead of the sausage they had used in it. However, it was a good choice, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just a little like bland for my taste buds, that's all. But not everybody wants spicy food either, so.
Yeah, that is a good point. You had to put a little bit of pepper on it.
Yeah.
I put a little bit of Tabasco on it to really amp up the flavor. But yeah, I'd agree. I never eat gluten-free stuff. I never try it. So my thought is that I know it's very hard to have a lot of gluten-free items. So this to me stood out as something that was a little bit on the creative side and done very well. It's just, if you...
Oh, it was turkey sausage. I didn't hear that part earlier. Okay, that makes sense to me. All right. That's why I didn't dislike the sausage. I was just thinking like a spicy meat would help it. But
yeah, no, it would have helped it better. It was just lacking that little exotic flavor that I think
Yeah.
both you and I do enjoy.
Yeah.
I think the average person would actually really like this, but we are people who openly go for something on the spicier level or
Yeah.
just a little bit on the more different side. But at $12, I felt that this was definitely a lot of food here. It was definitely a good sized portion.
Yeah, I'd say I mean, it's personal size, but I'd say personal size on the larger size. But it is very thin. And the gluten free dough that's used, like it's gluten free.
Yeah.
It's not one of those where you're like, I couldn't tell. It's So
Yeah.
don't go in thinking like, oh, I'm having this crazy type of gluten free thing that I've never had before.
Yeah, it's not the greatest entree,
Yeah.
but it's not bad at all.
Right, no.
It just needs an extra TLC, whether that's a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of hot sauce, whatever your fancy is on it to really take it to the next level.
I just appreciate that it existed. That isn't a normal breakfast item. You can't get a normal non-gluten free breakfast pizza. It wasn't listed, so it was kind of nice that they didn't just stick that standard fare in gluten free. Like they gave them something cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of cool, I've got to talk about the next menu item that we did sample.
No, save this one for last.
You want to save this one for last?
Because
Okay.
I think that one was the best one. Unless you think it was the other thing.
Okay, no, we'll go. We will now go to the house specialty item.
Okay.
One of two signature dishes that they have at Island's Dining Room for breakfast. They have the Tahitian French toast à la orange, and that is.
You gotta like swallow the L and the O.
And that comes with caramelized bananas and sweet cinnamon butter, and that's $13. But we did not go with that. We went with the other one that really tickled my fancy, and that is the Hawaiian Pancakes with toasted coconut, golden pineapple, and roasted macadamia nuts, $12. So you heard the ingredients. Here's how it was actually done. So they basically made 3 pancakes where
Decent sized pancakes.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Decent sized pancakes, and the macadamia nuts were actually cooked into the pancakes as if they were chocolate chip pancakes, but with macadamia nuts in there. Light, fluffy, light, fluffy, airy, basically exactly how you want your pancakes cooked. They were extremely well done, and then they were topped with toasted coconut and pineapple and a little bit of pineapple juice. But you might also wonder, well, where's the syrup coming into it? Where's that coming into play? Well, they actually don't have a syrup to it. What they do instead is they have the kind of the pineapple juice, and that is mixed alongside with the sweet butter, the kind of sweet Hawaiian butter that they make for the restaurant, and together those melt down into a combination that I would best describe as heavenly.
Well, I don't want. When you say pineapple juice, I don't think it was like pineapple juice out of the can or anything like that. Because it wasn't like super liquidy. It wasn't like, oh, I got this pancake and it's immediately like soaked.
No. It was definitely on the syrupy side. It
Yeah.
wasn't like I'm gonna pour out a can of pineapple juice and
And then
it's
just
good.
dump it on my
Yeah.
food like
Yeah, no, it did have it had a syrup consistency to
Yeah.
it, but it's not like this is their creation. It's not like there's we're just gonna pour syrup on top of it and then mix some juice and other things in there. This was straight up their original creation for it. And then this also was served along a side of your choice. That could be breakfast potatoes, bacon, turkey sausage. We ended up going for the hash browns.
Well, because I don't know about you, but I need to try hash browns whenever they're on a menu.
You love a good hash brown, and these were we were served 3 triangle-shaped hash browns that were almost like air fried because there was very little to no grease actually with them.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was very nice. It's
very
always
very crispy, which was good. Like they were like perfectly done because a good hash brown's like crispy on the outside, like a tater tot, crispy
Yeah.
on the outside, fluffy in the middle, but warm all the way through.
Yeah, and absolutely no grease at all
Yeah.
if possible. You don't want to feel terrible about this. You could eat these without feeling just absolutely awful about yourself. But, I mean, those pancakes, I don't know how they did them. I loved the combination of having the soft, fluffy pancakes, but then you crunch into a macadamia nut.
The macadamia nuts inside were really good.
And if you've never had a macadamia nut, they are so terribly high in fat for you. They are not good to eat at all. They are a nut dessert, but they are amazing. And I'm usually overly critical about stuff that's too coconutty, but I thought that the coconut actually added a nice balance to the overly sweetness of the pineapple and such. I at $12 between getting a side as well as the pineapple, the pancakes here, I think this was an absolute steal.
Honestly, with the side and the pancakes, like if you don't want to eat too heavy, I think you could share it with somebody.
Oh yeah, no, you could absolutely split the 3 pancakes that come served with it with the 3 pieces of the side, especially if you do the potatoes, and that could work for 2 people. Oh my gosh, the notifications. All the notifications that keep happening right now. You can't hear them. I can.
You can hear them. That's why I was like, well, you weren't on the screen, so nobody saw them.
They're in my headphones right now, so they're out there for the rest of the listening world. But yeah, I really, really love these. These took me 100% by surprise.
I do want to throw out something that was on the menu that we didn't get because I normally probably would have if we gotten there early enough, but we got there about 30 minutes, even less than that, maybe like 20 minutes before they stopped serving breakfast.
Yeah.
But they had $12 all you can drink champagne, mimosas, and Bloody Marys, which I thought that's a good deal. Even if it is the cheap champagne, whatever. That's the same price it is at a place I go for brunch on Sunday called Bonefish Grill, or like this bar I go to down the street. Like, every now and then we'll do that, and we'll do the mimosa thing, and just hang out for a couple hours. That's $12. That's a deal. Like, have 2 of those, and you paid for that $12 because essentially they're like $6. So like 2 or 3. And I mean, if you're staying at the hotel, you're just having a day by the pool. That's great. Get a couple of those, then go for a swim. Well, don't drown. I'm literally describing recipes for disaster.
Yeah,
but I thought that was a nice touch.
It's an absolute great price, even if the quality of the alcohol is on the lower end side, and the ingredients they use for the Bloody Marys and stuff isn't that great. For all you can drink for $12, that is a steal and a bargain. You do not see that at theme park restaurants that often, if ever. And in terms of other, of course, there's coffee. That was $4. There's an option of teas. Those are $3.50. Your juices, water, whatever you want. Other menu items that they have on there. You can do like a continental bread basket that gives you fresh juices along with breakfast pastries and coffee, tea, or milk if you want to. That's an option. They had a delicious sounding fruit platter that came out with all your fresh fruits, as well as some banana bread and some yogurt with granola. And so there's just lots of options. So this is where it got hard to choose the third dish that we are going to do. But luckily, Ryno and I are 2 like-minded people, and there is one word that I think we both have to see to get us perked up a little bit, a little excited, especially me. This was in lieu of a groom's cake at my wedding. I had what was referred to as the groom's brisket.
Yes, I remember.
Because I had a barbecue cook come and cater our wedding, and I wanted a brisket all to myself and only the select people that I chose. And so when we saw on here the paleo smoked brisket hash, that was slow smoked beef brisket, sweet potato, onion, and peppers with 2 sunny side up eggs and a side of avocado, tomato, arugula salad. It's in another picture if you're watching along with this. When we saw that on the menu for $16, is on the pricier side of the breakfasts. The only thing more expensive than it was the steak and eggs, but we had to try it. And Ryno,
oh my gosh,
I gotta compose myself right now while we think about it.
It was so good. Like, I immediately tried a piece of the brisket, and I was like, because that's kind of the flavor thing. That was really good. I thought the sweet potatoes were really well cooked inside of it, nice and soft. Just the whole thing, the eggs on top, all the flavors came together so well. It was, and the thing is too, is because it's like sweet potatoes, and you've got this avocado, tomato, arugula salad on the side that was also really good, really fresh and bright and colorful. You don't feel bad about eating
Yeah.
this at all. Like it wasn't heavy. I mean, again, we split everything, and it was just kind of one of those where I was like, oh my gosh, I love a good, like, one of the things made in skillets like that for breakfast, especially when you've got an egg
Yeah.
over potatoes related stuff. But yeah, everything they chose to be in this worked together really well, and
Yep.
was all very well prepared, which was great too, because again, like I said earlier, we were there 20 minutes before they stopped serving, so it didn't feel like they rushed it. It felt like they still took time with everything that they made us.
Yeah,
You know?
no, and I mean, you just can't say enough of the blended flavors all coming together in there. Everything complemented each other. The the sweetness from that sweet potato, the amount of seasoning that was all over the eggs, and the fact that even though the brisket, it was cubed brisket, which really like kind of took me back for a second. But then when you took one bite into it, and
Yeah.
it just fell apart,
Yeah.
and it just had the perfect level of fat on it.
Right,
So
yeah. That's why I was worried it was going to be like chewy or something, but it was just, I took a bite and I was like, wow, I'm
Yeah.
surprised at how well this is cooked.
Yeah,
Especially after our previous dining experiences with everything.
yeah, no, this while the pancakes being amazing was kind of a shock, this absolutely blew me away. This is an amazing breakfast. I think both you and I agreed that we would go back specifically for this item if
yes.
anyone wanted to do it.
If anyone ever's like, oh, you want to meet for breakfast somewhere at Universal, I'd be like, I know a place.
Yeah.
I know a thing. I know a thing I will order off that menu again. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'll throw in the mimosas.
And I would not
curious.
go mind going back, making it a $29 breakfast before tax and tip, just saying I will have or $28 saying I will have the brisket platter along with the all you can drink mimosas.
Yeah, treat yourself.
Exactly. Treat
Yeah.
yourself.
You're on vacation.
Donna would be proud.
Treat yourself.
Yeah. So
Treat yourself 2017.
As for the other details of Island's dining room, it's such a weird restaurant. It's like just got a walkway right through the middle of it.
It suffers from kind of like weird people too that work there.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to insult them. They were all very good, but oh my god, how many times I had to ask our waiter for the water that you finally had to get up and steal off another table. And the woman when she was seating us was just like turned to us as she was walking in. She goes, "You rest?" And I'm like, do I rest in general? Am I well rested? What are you asking? And you were like, no, never. And then she was like, oh, you enjoy. Or yeah. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, it just turned real weird real fast. Really uncomfortable. Yeah, the service there, I will not say service was bad. Again, we also came at we bordered on the point where I would say like it's the rude point to still show up. I know when they say that breakfast is 7 to 11, that means you can still be seated at 11 and you should still expect proper service.
I think we had
not
everything
closed
ordered
yet.
before 10:45. Though,
Yeah,
so
we-
I don't
we-
feel terrible, but I do feel a little bad.
Yeah, no, I always feel bad because they're at the end of their shift. They're trying to.
I know the last
clean
30
up and get
minutes
out.
is they want the ovens clean. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do feel bad on that end, but that's how things work out. It's open to that reason. It's open at that till that time for a reason. If the restaurant's going to shut down at 11, but they want people not to be seated after like 10:30, make the hours that. But so I won't. I don't necessarily think that came into play with the service. I think you're right. It's just while Lowe's Hotels hires some really great employees, it's sometimes you're gonna be a little odd.
Collection
We're all a
of
little
oddballs,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Exactly. But the restaurant as a whole, it is also weird. It is such a big restaurant. There was actually a lot of people still eating breakfast too when we got there. So it definitely, the word has gotten around that it is a popular thing. It's just the restaurant has such a weird feel to it. Just the way people will just walk through and look at you while you're eating.
Judgy.
Yeah,
Everyone's
just-
very judgy.
Everyone, you know
Judgy.
what? They deserve to be. But with the price, here's the one thing I will say, because it is at the hotel. You could technically go and park there and have your
Will they
have your
validate?
parking validated.
Okay.
Yes, they will validate. Something that we did not think about until
I thought about it driving in, but I
yeah.
was like, I don't want to text and drive and ask you this question.
Exactly. Something that we forgot to take into consideration. We parked at City Walk and then walked from there, which isn't that bad. If you don't want to park right at the hotel, that is always an option too. But if you do park there, just please make sure to get your parking validated, because it is very expensive to park at these hotels. But yeah, for the price that it actually costs, somewhere ranging between, I would say you're going to walk out of here ranging, if you do like a coffee or a juice, something like that with an entree, you're looking at about $20 per person. So we essentially ordered the amount of food for 3 people, and with our 10% discount from our annual pass, that came out to be, with tip included, a $10 tip. Our total came out to be $59, and we, like I said, I had a coffee, Ryno had tea. We ordered 3 entrees, and it was a good experience. So I will easily say I have had breakfast in the Wizarding World. I have eaten breakfast at Amatista. I believe I had breakfast once at the kitchen, and that will be something that we will go back and re-review too, since there are so few spots to actually have breakfast.
I've never been there.
Yeah, and we also have to do breakfast with the character dining breakfast inside the park. That is definitely something we have to do. But I am happy to report that Island's Dining Room, while it may be a terrible dinner, it is a great choice for breakfast, and something that if you're at Universal, you're looking for a good breakfast spot, good place to go relax, has some time for it, go give it a shot. It'll be worth it. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. Well, thank you for coming with me to Ryno this morning and doing that.
It was
a lot of
wonderful.
fun. Yes, it was. So, if you've ever had any good dining experiences at Island's Dining Room, whether for breakfast or dinner, go ahead and let us know in the comments below. All that good stuff. You want to send us an email, can't figure out how to do that. Head to disunplug.com, home of our show notes page, where you can find any great information from this show or any others in the Diz Unplugged podcast network. Make sure you're following us on Facebook as well as Twitter, all those good places where we're updating you on things. Make sure you're subscribed to us on iTunes as well as YouTube, and leaving all that good feedback for us that we like to always watch, read, and listen. And again, guys, thank you so much for always watching and listening. We really do appreciate it. Yeah. Every single week. We hope you had fun with this episode. Again, thank you, Ryno. This was a fun conversation.
It was.
It was. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. We will be back with you next week, but probably not with resolutions.